one of the things I was reading about, which I want to talk a little bit about, is the idea of this leadership with collaboration. So
Hmm.
with your staff, I know a lot of coaches really keep their tactics and their methods kind of close to their chest, but you're very different. You go on these walks with your staff. Can you tell us a little bit about those walks and why and how
Yeah.
you are so open to input from your staff?
Yeah. Well, that started at Louisville with my assistants there, and we always called them like productivity walks. And so there was a walking path right outside of our offices, so it was really convenient. So we started doing it, all the time. And when I took the job at Louisville, my number one goal was to hire like a great number two, as somebody that could balance my strengths and weaknesses and would be different, but still have the same ideas about morals and values and how we want to communicate. And I just think as a coach, you have to be vulnerable and you have to know your weaknesses or you're never going to survive. And that's okay, and so coming to Nebraska, which was great, just having all the staff stay from John, who I knew fairly well. And what was awesome is they were kind of similar to the staff I had at Louisville. So there wasn't a lot of changes for
Mm.
me. It's like, Jalen, who's assistant here, is like the defensive coach. That's more my weakness. And then Kelly Hunter, who I coached at Nebraska as an assistant, we're super similar, but she can, really have a great handle on the offense. So it just seemed like a great fit. And I just know I can't do it all. And so I don't know why coaches try to stifle people around them instead of like letting them use their strengths.
Right, empowering them, right, to help
Yeah,
and do more. And then the players see that as well, that piece of the
for sure.
collaboration.
We always,
Um,
yeah, we always talked about that. It's like we want to model every day what we want our players to be. So if we're collaborating, they're more likely to collaborate. If we're pumping each other up as a staff, they'll do that too. So
yes.
um, it starts at the top for sure.
Yeah. If they see you're having fun and liking each other, they're going to
That's
have
right.
fun and like each
Yeah,
other, right? It's
so good.
like, yeah, it's so good. It's so smart. I love it so much. What is it like for those of our listeners who maybe don't understand the the obsession of the state with volleyball? Actually, it's not even just Nebraska. I have neighbors literally down the street and where I walk my dog, and they hang their Nebraska flag. They fly out to games still. Like they are all in. This is in California, by the way. So it's not just a statewide obsession. It's beyond that. But I mean, beyond having like 2 decades of sold out games, for our party people. I mean, they also 2 years ago had more than 92,000 people pack their Memorial Stadium for what they called Volleyball Day in Nebraska, setting a world record for the most attended women's sporting event ever. So tell us about that excitement in terms of, is it pressure? Is it something that's just so intense and so fun that you thrive under it? Like, how do you manage that with the players?
Honestly, coming back here, that was one of the bigger, I guess, surprises that people are like, what surprised you the most? And, being in this program for so long, then going away for 8 years, and just the fact how much it's grown is like mind boggling. It's been sold out for decades. It's been this huge program in the state of Nebraska. Hard to get a ticket, but nationally, I'm just shocked by the reach that Nebraska has now. And it was a stadium game. I think that got everybody,
Yeah,
noticing
that was insane.
volleyball, Nebraska volleyball, women's sports. But just being able to piggyback off that for these last 2 years, it's just wild going on the road and just the fans. And we don't talk about it as a team because it's like so obvious that it's added pressure. We don't really need to talk about it. But I have thought to myself, like, oh God, what's going to happen if we lose a game? All these fans are coming in.
Right.
You feel like you're kind of you're there to put on a performance, or like somebody going to a concert. Like we have to perform. Well, with sports, there's winning and like we can't win everything all the time.
Maybe
And
you
so what
can.
like what
Right
I'm
now
going to
you
say
are.
True. Like I flew here from North Carolina and I saw you guys lose. It's like I don't really want to experience those emails or conversations. Um, so we don't talk about it a lot as a team. I do feel like you kind of know what you're getting into when you commit to Nebraska.
Are there any other teams in the NCAA that gets the same kind of fanfare as Nebraska, or is it very one? Is it just this one team in the NCAA, and like it feels like Nebraska's got to be bringing in, the women's volleyball team is bringing in money because they're selling out all these games. How does that transfer into NIL money or into the growth of women's volleyball globally?
Yeah. Well, one thing that's great about volleyball coaches in general, not just me or Nebraska, is we are always like pushing the envelope and we will do things that maybe would put a win-loss record at risk for the sport, for the betterment of the sport. And now that we're getting TV coverage, I think that's kind of why it's exploding, you know? And there's a long time where Nebraska and Texas didn't want to play each other in the non-conference because it's just a huge rivalry um but like we know that we have to start doing some of these things to build, and the more eyes we can get on our sport, the more people jump on board. And you know, like for Nebraska, one thing that's amazing is we go to all these other places, we sell out. Like USC's sold out, which I heard the Galen Center has never been sold out.
That's so awesome.
For volleyball, UCLA's almost sold out, you know, with Pauley Pavilion, which is unbelievable. I did not. I have friends coming. I'm like, oh, you'll be able to buy tickets there. It's not going to sell out. And then it sold out. I'm like, oh no.
Whoopsies.
Yeah, I'm not gonna
Just kidding.
Whoops.
on the secondary market, but like if those people, like if people from California, like your neighbors, they go, okay, let's go watch this match, and it might be their first game, and they're like, oh wow, this is great. Then hopefully they'll come back to another UCLA game or USC game, and
Yeah.
that's kind of how we start building. But for NIL, you know, volleyball's just kind of turning the corner where there's a lot of tournaments popping up, one game series there where these companies want to pay us to play so we can get money in our NIL budgets, which is great because I just think they see the value. And honestly, social media has made volleyball really popular. I think our players are all over social media and they're funny and you know they do a great job with it. And so then these young girls are watching them on TikTok and they want to come to the games and they become huge fans. And it's almost like the social media and the volleyball are like one and one.
Yeah, that's why I think women have done so well, women athletes with NIL, right? Because they crush social media. And it's so fun because you get to know them in a different way that, you know,
Right.
in our
Yeah.
era, my era, I shouldn't say our era, because Abby had social media in the beginning of
It was
my
the
career. There was
beginning
no
part.
social media.
But Dani, you actually also you jump in with the players' TikToks and you get in on that. I think that's
I
pretty
love that.
awesome. Like not many coaches would do that. That's really cool.
Yeah, occasionally they'll convince me. I'm always like, I will not dance, but if you have another good one, I'll participate. So
No dancing. That's where you draw the line.
nobody wants to see that. Trust me. I
Danny,
grew up in
we
a bar.
we
There's no-
definitely want to see that. Come on.
no, it's brutal. My husband always reminds me, like, you are just the worst dancer. So
That's why it's so perfect.
maybe it would be.
Bad dancing is great dancing. And we have to
It's
show
true.
young kids that.